Happy Thursday and welcome to a very special broadcast here on Ndtv. With Tyler Reedy, I'm Helen Wynn.
Today we're bringing the best of our news and sports coverage into a one-of-a-kind show. It's called Sun Rock, and it'll take you through a busy stretch here on campus, Holy Week.
Absolutely. Along with the traditional set of Triduum liturgies at the Basilica of the Sacred Heart, this year, all those on campus have a special Good Friday opportunity. The Notre Dame Folk Choir, under the direction of Dr. J.J. Wright, is putting on their second performance of their newly composed musical rendition of Christ's Passion, conveniently titled The Passion. But this year, it will be performed outside on South Quad. Our Jake Miller has more.
This Friday on South Quad, the University of Notre Dame Folk Choir will be performing The Passion, a 95-minute, fully staged Passion play. The Passion is an extended version of what many Christians see during the liturgy on Palm Sunday and Good Friday. The folk choir's version is fully written in-house, with music written by director J.J. Wright, as well as many students. Last spring, the folk choir had the opportunity to travel to the Holy Land to see the same places where Jesus ministered to those around him, and to therefore gain a better understanding of the great mystery they attempt to memorialize. The Passion debuted in 2022 with an East Coast tour and an initial performance at the Basilica of the Sacred Heart on Palm Sunday. This year, the folk choir will perform The Passion on Good Friday on South Quad at 8:30 p.m. For those unable to attend in person, a live stream will be made available on YouTube. For Ndtv, I'm Jake Miller.
Thank you, Jake. Over the weekend, Notre Dame softball hosted its 12th annual Strikeout Cancer Weekend against the Pittsburgh Panthers. Initiated and led by Irish head coach Deanna Gumpf, the three-day stretch raised over $70,000 for cancer-affected families at Beacon Children's Hospital. After Sunday's doubleheader, fans could donate $10 to take 10 swings in a home run derby. Notre Dame football coach Marcus Freeman got involved, launching 4 softballs over the fence. He even tweeted after the performance that he just wanted to be like junior first baseman Karina Gaskins, who crushed 3 home runs in the series finale.
To continue the stream of good news, on Tuesday night, the Division of Student Affairs hosted their yearly student leadership reception. This year, 3 halls were awarded Hall of the Year, with Pascagoula West taking home the Women's Hall of the Year award, Carroll Hall taking it on the men's side, and O'Neill Family Hall under the direction of Colin Malik, Frank Jang, and Jack Kelly. All 3 dorms will get the prize Dome Dance during the next academic year. Of course, this is a highly contentious award, and for more thoughts, we send it over to our panel.
Thank you, Helen. Well, I'm Elise Dahoney here with JJ Post and Jake Irons, and we're going to talk about how the past few weeks have been very busy weeks in terms of dorm competition. I mean, just in the past few weeks, ND Barstool has had their own bracket for dorm competition, Irish Woodworks, and probably most importantly, we were named, well, not we, other dorms were named Hall of the Year, which Helen just mentioned. But I want to start out just talking about these Hall of the Year awards because they're most important. So it was the Men's Hall of the Year was Carroll, Women's Hall of the Year was P-Dub, and then overall Hall of the Year was O'Neill. Opinions on O'Neill being overall Hall of the Year?
This is, I don't find myself on Wednesday nights over here and Thursday mornings all that often on Sunrise. However, when I do, I'm going to come in firing. There shouldn't be 2 Hall of the Years. So in this situation, O'Neill winning the overall Hall of the Year and then Carroll winning the men's, just eliminate the men's out. They are the men Hall of the Year, also taking the overall. There's no need to do both. I understand you're going to push back. Oh, the Dome Dance is going to be so pretty, and it's going to be amazing.
I have a really pretty dress.
That is so stupid. We don't award 2 winners. We don't award 2 winners. There's no 2 winners. Keep it moving. O'Neill should just be outright. And let's be honest, Carroll doing a great job out there. Way to go, guys. Second place, I don't know if that's really what you should be striving for.
Yeah, I concur with Jacob here. Carroll might be the best suburb of Chicago out there, but they indeed finished second in the best men's dorm competition, and that should not be rewarded with a Dome Dance. Listen,
second.
Credit to them for finishing second.
Yeah.
But they still finished second. It's dumb to have a Hall of the Year and then a best men's Hall of the Year when Hall of the Year was a men's hall. Same applies if it was a women's hall.
And if there is something different here.
I don't get what they're going for.
If there's something that specifies the difference, me and JJ will love to hear it. But on paper, it seems like it's the same categories. then it's just taking the second place one at the end of the day.
Yeah, listen,
I think your excitement deserves a little bit of an explanation. Neither of their dorms were named.
Okay,
Hall
that is so.
But I
that
will
is
say,
not-
I am devastated. I don't know what I will do to personally recover
listen
from
to me.
this.
Since your dorms were not named Hall of the Year, since there were other dorms, there's now 3 dorms, not just 2 that were named Hall of the Year, you have the opportunity to have people from 3 different dorms to take you to a dome dance.
But there's only one women's
Wait a
Hall
minute,
of the Year.
that's not.
That's.
I don't know.
Where
You
is
can go
it?
with
both
it.
straight.
Yeah, I don't know
hate
where
to
we're
break it to
going
you.
here. Like, how am I getting there? I got one
Math
shot.
doesn't work there.
I got one shot.
Hey, I got 2, so I'll
Way to go. This is
Systematic
why she's
inequality,
pushing
folks.
back. This is
Systematic
why.
inequality. You're telling
Yes.
me 2 men's
Okay.
dorms get a dome dance, only one doesn't? Only one woman doesn't? All I'm saying, systematic inequality.
If there's any guys in O'Neill or Carroll who need a date to dome dance,
Shameless.
I am
This is
available.
not what mass media is
But
for.
moving on.
Propaganda.
Let's go to
Nonsense.
a more informal competition. ND Barstool had their recent bracket competition for dorms. First of all, did you guys vote in these brackets?
You didn't vote?
You didn't vote? That's why Fisher.
I have better things to do on Instagram than look at ND Barstool, such
You're
as not
passing,
being on Instagram.
You're passing through the Instagram stories. I'm sitting there at like midnight, and you're just like, okay, hold on, here we go.
Real
let's
men
go.
use Twitter, not
I
Instagram.
use Twitter too, boss. Did you not see? I got a tweet out there right at the current moment. I'm just saying.
Our
it is pretty
desk host
popular.
Tyler knows the virtues of Twitter.
Yes,
but
yeah.
We'll get to that debate on a
But
later time.
At the end of the day,
You voted.
I voted yes because that's your Notre Dame right. I think Mary Claire, who's our camera operator, voted. I bet you Helen voted. I bet you voted.
I did, and you know, I voted for Siegfried for you.
Thank you.
And
Siegfried
you
Hall.
voted. You told me you voted for Ryan over
When you
Peta.
asked me to vote for Ryan, I voted for Ryan out of respect for your request. Otherwise,
Ryan
I
did
was not
make
voting in
it-
these polls.
Ryan made it past the first round, luckily, but we didn't make it much further than that, even though we should. But I think
Congrats on being the
McGlynn-
Tennessee of dorms.
Wow.
McGlynn
We have gone off the
and
rails on this
Keenan-
panel.
McGlynn and Keenan ended up winning for the ND Barstool brackets. And I think they both are very deserving dorms. Keenan, of course, our colleague Sam Kaufman and I went to the Keenan Review this year and enjoyed it like crazy. It was a fantastic show. And then McGlynn, it's on West Quad. I guess they have that going for them. I don't know.
think Keenan makes the most sense here because
It does.
we've seen a restructuring of Keenan of just there's the student body there, but then they also have maybe the after hours life as well of Keenan, which may have propelled them forward, especially in this ND Barstool. You also have to take that into consideration as well.
I'll be honest, the extent of my knowledge of dorm competitiveness is I play on my dorm soccer team. That's about it. So I'm not the person to.
How's your dorm soccer team doing?
We made it to the next round, 2-1. I'll take
Hey,
it.
there we go.
Yeah, no, I have not contributed much, to say the least. The reason I talk about sports is I can't play them. But
Those who
at
can't
any rate,
play, talk.
there are better people who
whoa,
analyze
whoa.
dorm competition. Jake, let's be honest here.
Dude, I can hit a
Jake,
golf
Jake,
ball.
Angering the
I
Shamrock
can hit a
guys.
golf ball.
Jake,
Okay.
let's be honest here.
Okay,
that's
well,
fair.
I think clearly there's a little bit of anger over here
There's
in
no
general
anger.
about dorms, but we can discuss this later at a later date when we talk about how excellent Ryan Hall is in one of our upcoming
Shameless.
Good Lord. Now back to the desk. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, Elise. No one asked me, but I totally called P-Dub winning. It was no surprise there. In contrast, over spring break, to the surprise of all, the Notre Dame Athletics Department announced that on September 23rd, when Notre Dame hosts Ohio State in football, the Irish will take the field in their iconic green jerseys. Last year, the Irish wore green against the University of California. Wearing green was embraced by Freeman, a stark change from the philosophy of Brian Kelly, who is known for his dislike of any special uniforms. In recent years, Irish home games have been overrun by fans from opposing teams. This was most notably seen in 2017, when a Red Sea of Georgia fans came to South Bend from Athens. Hopefully the green helps the Irish take down the Buckeyes this fall.
Well, the temperatures are warming up, and that can mean only one thing. Major League Baseball is back in action, and opening week did not disappoint. Last year's World Series qualifiers, Philadelphia and Houston, are both off to slow starts. The Phillies surrendered 27 runs in their first 2 games at Texas. Meanwhile, the world champion Astros fell to Detroit in extra innings on Monday, as Notre Dame alum Matt Vierling hit the game-winning 2-run home run. Pennant contenders Toronto and St. Louis played a memorable game at Busch Stadium last Thursday. The Blue Jays exchanged leads with the Cardinals 4 times in the final 4 innings before stealing a 10-9 win. Toronto leadoff man George Springer racked up 5 hits, while number 1 St. Louis prospect Jordan Walker earned his first big league knock. The New York Yankees enjoyed a special opening day, which began with reigning American League MVP Aaron Judge going deep in his first at-bat. Top prospect Anthony Volpe also made his major league debut, starting at shortstop. Later on in the weekend, Giancarlo Stanton hit the longest home run of the season to date, going 485 feet out to center field atop the batter's eye. New York's arch rival, the Boston Red Sox, provided the first walk-off home run of the 2023 season. Brand new acquisition outfielder Adam Duvall hit the game winner, completing a 3-run comeback in the final 3 innings against the Baltimore Orioles. Dodgers outfielder Trace Thompson delivered the first 3-homer game of the season Saturday, as he drove in 8 runs in LA's 10-1 blowout of Arizona at Dodger Stadium. Staying with Los Angeles, Sunday saw Angels superstar teammates Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani destroy back-to-back home runs. The 2 long balls traveled a combined distance of 881 feet, helping the Halos secure their season-opening series in Oakland. On Tuesday, Marlins ace Sandy Alcantara tossed the season's first complete game. The reigning National League Cy Young winner shut out the Minnesota Twins, ending their perfect 4-0 start to the season. And finally, the league introduced a handful of new rules for 2023, most notably banning defensive shifts and speeding up the game with a pitch clock. Now, it does apply to both pitchers and hitters, and Padres star Manny Machado was actually ejected from a game Tuesday for arguing a timer-induced automatic strike. It resulted from his failure to establish himself in the batter's box in a timely fashion.
So every Tuesday, our priest lets us all bake in his room, and then at 11, we hand out all the baked goods to anyone on campus. They are free. Anyone is welcome. My favorite is the one FJ makes, which is the sprinkle sugar cookies. You'll have to try them. They're really popular. For the bakers that come a lot, FJ will write your name on an empty vanilla bottle, and then on top of the counters in the kitchen, he'll have a whole row of all the bottles with your names on them.
This is for those people who have no fun. It reminds me of Yankee Candles.
Yeah, I feel that. It's actually very profound of you.
I know! If there's any New Englanders out there, which I know there are because my mom watches this, it tastes like a Dunkin' Donuts chocolate chip muffin.
I think it's #1 for me right now.
I agree with that ranking.
I think
High
it's...
five. Pound
Yeah.
it.
These are very peanut buttery and they're very crumbly. Like before when we split it, you see,
You can
it's
hear.
kind of already like chalk in my hands. No tears over here though.
No tears up to cry.
Copyright. It's advertised as a chocolate chip cookie.
It was advertised as the best thing you'll ever put in your mouth, which is a big claim.
I think that any chocolate chip cookie straight out of the oven can solo any cookie on this plate. Okay, I'm getting uncomfortable. You need to get up.
That is the leprechaun of cookies.
But this.
This is what gets me through those hard weeks. Even though I've eaten a lot of cookies today, Megan, I could eat another one of those.
I couldn't.
Everyone should come out to FJ's. It's free. It's fun. FJ is the sweetest of sweethearts. Julia is a great baker, a great person. And come support Ryan Hall. For Elise and Megan, from my dorm room in Ryan Hall. Now back to the desk.
We thought when coming back and doing a Sun Rock, it was only fitting we took our best segment and brought it to Sunrise. And so today, for one time only in the second semester, we bring back college football courtroom for our final time potentially this year. Tyler Reedy, who is on the desk doing a fabulous job. JJ Post, a straight man, as well as myself, Jacob Irons, as we're ready to rock and roll here today on college football courtroom. So, gentlemen, we are continuing where we left off, where Notre Dame is continuing to find a way to screw themselves with scheduling. And so, at the biggest conclusion, every year Notre Dame will have haters saying their schedule is not strong enough. They're playing too many cupcakes. They're not playing enough people. If they were in a conference, they could play stronger opponents. So, today, and mind you, if you watched last episode, we didn't have a clock. I got a clock this time. They got 1 minute to rebut. We'll start with you, Tyler. Where are we going on this debate?
Yeah, so I think I would agree that, yes, if you're in a conference, you will play consistently stronger opponents. You'll see more teams ranked in the top 25 year in, year out. But however, even staying outside of conference, you look at it this year, USC, Ohio State, both projected to be top teams. So you can see the top dogs, several years in a row, even if you stay on the outside. And what I've learned over the past 10 years or so is that Notre Dame doesn't necessarily need a conference-type schedule to make the playoff with one loss. You look at 2015, lost to Clemson about a month into the season, ran the table the rest of the way, and it took a game-winning field goal at Stanford to lose out of the playoff there. Then in 2017, obviously, the early loss to Georgia at home, ran the table then, went down to Miami, got smoked. So there was still a chance in both of those years to make the playoff with one loss. So I don't think the schedule is too much of an issue. And you look down the road, you see teams like Arkansas, Alabama, Florida out there. Notre Dame and Jack Swarbrick, the AD, are doing a nice job getting those teams on the schedule and getting fans excited as well.
Whoa, we're under. This is ridiculous. We gotta bring this clock out more often. JJ, what's your thing?
Yeah, I think much of the hate for Notre Dame's schedule, and in general, team schedule, when teams get called too soft, their scheduling, it's overblown because it ignores the context of these schedules are created 5 years in advance.
Yeah,
and realistically
that is
speaking,
true.
unless you're scheduling Alabama or Georgia or insert blue blood team here, you don't know if the actual team is going to be good in 5 years. Things change. All-American players graduate. Coaches leave. Stuff happens. So I think people too often ignore the fact that when teams make these schedules, unless you're scheduling the Alabamas of the world, you have no idea how good the team you're scheduling in 5 years is going to be. When we scheduled Cincinnati, it was a stroke of genius because Cincinnati, the year we ended up playing them, ended up being one of the 4 best teams in the country. The same might not apply to, Texas A&M, when we scheduled them, was one of the best teams in the country. Next year, we don't know if Texas A&M is going to be a top-tier team under Jimbo Fisher. Maybe they will be. Maybe they won't. I think there's a lot of context ignored when people say Notre Dame or any other team schedule is too soft. People need to look at when these are created. No one really knows how good these schedules are going to be. They just schedule them for money.
I'll allow you one rebut.
I mean, I can't disagree too much, but bottom line is, even next year and the couple of years going forward, Notre Dame's got a really solid opportunity to make some noise with the schedule. Ohio State and USC. Ohio State is obviously just one next year thing, but USC going forward is going to be really strong. So, even not far out in advance, just in the recent coming years, could really be a strong opportunity for the Irish to make some waves with the Trojans on the schedule and Lincoln Riley doing good things down there.
I'm going to have to agree with JJ here. Schedules are just a stroke of luck sometimes. However, let's keep moving forward and let's get going. Preseason All-Americans, baby. Nobody better than the Irish putting up 2, and no shocker, the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Alt himself, someone that JJ took really early in today's blue gold draft between me and himself. He screwed me over, so maybe that's why I might.
You screwed yourself over.
Nah, stop it. Order in my court. Order.
I took quarterback with the first overall pick.
Benjamin Morrison also on there. We'll start with you, JJ. How do you feel about these preseason accolades?
Benjamin Morrison also on my blue gold team, by the way. I think you could make the argument that Sam Hartman could be in contention for something like that. If everything clicks right, he is a high-tier quarterback playing for a blue blood program. That is the combination of factors that makes a player get national recognition. But ultimately speaking, I think given the uncertainty in the Notre Dame wide receiver room, given the fact that it is going to be a new offense coordinator, and given the fact that Notre Dame ostensibly under Freeman will be a run-based offense, I don't think I'm too confident that Hartman will be in All-American, because that's a one-player thing. You don't get to be there's not 3 All-American quarterbacks. There's 1. So I don't think Hartman will be the best quarterback in college football next year, even if he is a very, very good one.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty fair to say Alt and Morrison are the only 2 consensus All-Americans. I think you can make some fringe arguments. Maybe Estime if he has a breakout year. Maybe Blake Fisher on the other side of the line could have a breakout year. But I think these are players that you're kind of just like, hey, if these guys take the next step, they could be in that conversation. Morrison and Alt, I'd say, are the only 2 players who you look at where they are right now, where they are at the end of the season, and you say these are the guys that I think I know are going to be playing at All-American level. Everything past that is just maybe these guys develop, maybe they don't.
Yeah. Tyler?
And I'd have to agree with you, especially with Sam Hartman. The way the college game is trending towards quarterbacks being so elite and so really prepared for the National Football League from an early stage in college, it's going to be really tough, especially in much less of a run-and-gun Notre Dame type running offense, like you said, to put yourself out there. I will be interested to see, however, with more of a solidified, proven quarterback as opposed to the Tyler Buckner situation last year and then Jack Cohen getting off to the rough start in 2021. Will somebody emerge out of that Notre Dame backfield? Could Audric Estime, just take over and become a 25, 30 carry per game type of guy, putting up 100-yard games left and right? Saw him do it a couple times last year. Maybe Chris Tyree as a pass catcher out of the backfield with Sam Hartman being that asset at the quarterback position could take a leap forward as well. Who knows? But I'm excited to see how this Notre Dame offense develops, and the running backs could get a lot more attention with not only the wide receiver room being much more thin this year and trying to rebuild a little bit, but also looking to replace Michael Mayer. That's a big pair of shoes to fill. Mitchell Evans obviously feels like he's in great shape to do it, and I think he'll do a fine job. But running backs are going to be a much bigger key, I think, than a lot of people expect, keying in on Hartman.
That's very fair. I will go with Tyler here. I think he's got a very solid argument. However, we're going to squeeze this one in because I'm running short on time because it's a freaking Sunrock episode and I got to squeeze a lot into a small. So let's go. Irish jersey, you already talked about on the desk, Tyler. What are your thoughts on this against Ohio State?
I'm glad they're bringing it back for OSU. I think it's going to counter the red really well. These are two of the strongest uniform teams in college football. However, I still think, and a lot of people agree with me on this, Notre Dame's got to get rid of these blue numbers on the back of the jerseys. It's one of my biggest pet peeves with any team's uniform. The numbers cannot be a different color than the letters on the back, the last nameplate. It just doesn't work. Give me the white numbers and some gold pants, maybe even a shamrock on the helmet, too, to go with the gold every once in a while. I wouldn't hate that, but glad to see him coming back, although I think there could be some changes.
All right, here we go, JJ.
Yeah, time for a brief Notre Dame football history lesson. I'm not sure how deep into Notre Dame football lore most of our subscriber base is, but back in 1977, when Notre Dame initially debuted the green jerseys, they did so by not telling anyone they were wearing the green jerseys. They came out of the tunnel against USC just wearing them, and it created an energy pop in the crowd. It created an energy wave that led Notre Dame to victory in that game. I think that the fact that we use St. Patrick's Day as a springboard to announce it, it's a cool little promo, and it does well with the Fighting Irish moniker, but I think it would have been cooler if we did it against USC and just simply came out and then let the crowd see, oh, we're wearing the green jerseys, it's a big game, let's go, let's get up for it. And to your point about Notre Dame sometimes, or to Tyler's point on the desk rather, about Notre Dame Stadium sometimes being taken over by opposing teams' fans, sometimes struggling to get the top tier atmosphere that you often see teams like Georgia, like Alabama create. Notre Dame Stadium, it's a historic stadium. You do great for fans, but sometimes, as you see here, it gets bad when opposing teams come down in mass. And I think if you had that energy wave that would come with the green jerseys being revealed to the crowd on game day, you might be able to create a little more of that atmosphere that Notre Dame Stadium, while historic, sometimes lacks.
No rebut here.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I'm going to have to go with Tyler here. I like it. I do like the planning. I want to wear green too in support. However, we're going to get it back to the desk with Helen, who's standing by for the rest of the show.
Looking at this upcoming week, all students are invited to celebrate Easter Sunday Mass together in the Basilica at 9 p.m. Father Pete will be presiding. A Holy Thursday service will also be offered at 5 p.m., as well as a Good Friday service at 3 p.m.
Students, be sure to stay on top of your plans and your emails. Room picks for fall 2023 are ongoing now through April 16th. The process is specific to each residence hall, so get in touch with your rector or a residence assistant with any questions.
Interested in serving on the Student Union Board? SUB is currently accepting applications for the roles of committee chairs, internal officers, and general members. Applications are due at midnight on Tuesday, April 11th.
For the second time this year, Notre Dame men's lacrosse will play in a number 1 versus number 2 matchup at Arlada Stadium. The top-ranked Duke Blue Devils will face the Irish at 4 o'clock p.m. on Saturday, but not before the women's team hosts Boston College in a top 10 matchup at noon. Then, the Diamond Sports will return home to welcome you back from Easter break. Baseball will host Michigan State at 6 o'clock p.m. Tuesday, and softball will face Indiana at 5 o'clock p.m. Wednesday.
Be sure to mark these events on your calendars. Remember, not making plans is a huge red flag. Let's turn it over to Elijah, Elise, and JJ to hear about their Notre Dame red flags.
Well, thank you, Helen. Well, today we're going to talk about not just our red flags in general, but the red flags in terms of signing up for courses, which I know all students are looking to do in just a few short weeks. So, Elijah, when you were selecting courses, Elijah Keel, our grad student, when you were selecting courses just a few months ago, what were your red flags in terms of the classes that you would pick?
My red flag was that I was signing up for grad school, and that was the main problem. When I was an undergrad, the biggest red flag was teachers who said, I don't believe in extra credits, or the grade that you get is the grade that you get.
You can't trust those teachers.
No, because
they're not human.
They don't believe in extra credits. Like, okay, some people don't believe that the earth is round.
You can't have that. JJ, you are not an engineer, but you,
God bless, no.
but you are a journalism student. So for you,
student is aggressive for what I do with journalism in the school.
What is your red flag in signing up for classes?
Yeah, this is the first semester I have not had a Friday class for poli-sci because a lot of poli-sci classes here have Friday discussion groups, and it has been a blessing. And I don't know if that's something I will be able to continue doing next year, but it is very much something I hope to be doing because as someone who does Shamrock Sports on Friday and also works at the desk on Friday, just being able to sleep in somewhat is so much appreciated to my sleep schedule, which, as anyone who knows me knows, is, in a word, bad. Yeah, so Friday classes, that's a big no-no for me. I have no idea if that's something I will be able to continue doing next year and beyond, but God willing, it will be.
And what would Shamrock be without you here on Fridays?
Probably better and more concise.
We need to up the confidence here. Well, for me, I think the biggest red flag that I've learned over the years is you have to check on Rate My Professor what your professor's Rate My Professor score is. I know it's anonymous, you never really know what's gonna happen, but I would say like at least 6 times out of 10, it's giving you some kind of accuracy in terms of whether or not you should have that professor. I have avoided a lot of bad classes for that. But I think I probably avoided even more because I'm not an engineer. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, Elijah. But I mean, you as a graduate student, do you even get to pick classes anymore?
I get to pick a few optional classes, but it's usually one professor is teaching this class, and it's like, are you interested in this class? Yes. Is the professor good? I mean, they're not awful.
You're like a lawyer present before you comment on this matter.
Well, you're like the TAs now in classes, so he's the one who's going to make or break your grade.
And I promise.
The red flag is a bad TA.
And I promise to only grade fairly.
Only grade fairly. Take that as you will. Well, anyway, those are our red flags, and we wish everyone on campus the best of luck for their upcoming course registration. Me and JJ have to be seniors. We had to register early. And you do too, Helen, so back to the desk now.
Thanks, Elise. With that many red flags, you know it's time to end it.
That's all we have for today's episode of Sunrock. Special thanks to the Shamrock sports team for moving ahead a day in the rotation to make this show possible. Be sure to check out our newscast on Thursday mornings in the Duncan Student Center from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock a.m. You can also now catch us in North Dining Hall while you're eating breakfast, as well as on the Ndtv YouTube page under the ND Sunrise playlist.
To keep up with all the latest news, make sure to follow us at Notre Dame Television on Instagram, at Notre Dame TV on Twitter, and Notre Dame Television on YouTube.
Do you want to get involved with NDTV? We're always searching for people interested in student-led broadcasting and TV production. Come visit our studio on the second floor of the Duncan Student Center or send us an email at ndtv@nd.edu.
Thank you for tuning in this morning. From all of us here at the studio, we hope you have a tremendous Thursday. Happy Easter to all.